Jen Strauss. So let's just tell me a little bit about who is Jen Strauss if they don't know you already.
Well, if they don't know me already, then I'll have everyone know that I have Down syndrome, and I'm always proud to be rocking the extra chromosome, no matter where I go, and whose lives I may have touched or will have touched in the future.
Awesome. Now there's basically three basic types of Down syndrome, and you have not the general type, but you have one type. It's called Mosaic Down Syndrome, right?
Yes.
Do you know the differences? They're kind of tricky to know. I don't know if you know the differences with the three.
It's like oftentimes I know it, but then again, I don't know it. So I
Mm.
always get
I
confused.
I even struggle just on the pronunciations, but I know there's the main one is trisomy 21, then there's mosaic, and then translocation, and they have to do with chromosomes. And chromosomes is basically a little bit like this picture. Can you tell us a little bit? It looks like a bunch of socks. That's why they're talked about rocking the socks. When people hear World Down Syndrome Day or Down syndrome, they're talking about socks. And I always wondered, why are they talking about socks, mismatched socks? Well, this is a picture of chromosomes, and Down syndrome has, with Down syndrome, you have an extra chromosome. Can you speak a little bit about this picture?
Yes. So with the average person, there's 46 chromosomes. People with Down syndrome, we have 47. And that's where the extra comes in, and we are always extra everything. And so that always makes people very, very impressed when I
Well,
tell them that.
that is awesome. I'm just learning more about it, and I think it's just kind of fun to learn about Down syndrome. You can dive into the the whole thing about it with the chromosomes. That gets a little uh, complex even for myself, but just some of the basic things. Here's a picture that I want people to know that we'll just start off with this. It says, I am not Downs. I have Down syndrome. I'm not a Downs adult. I'm an adult with Down syndrome. I am not a Down syndrome. I am Jen. You are Jen. I am much more than a diagnosis. Down syndrome doesn't define you. And then you got your rockin' the socks shirt on there. I love that.
Thanks.
And that speaks volumes right there. I believe that's kind of your whole thing. Tell us a little bit about your story. You grew up in Florida. Tell us a little bit about your upbringing, your childhood, and now you're in Wisconsin.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, how I got into Wisconsin was courtesy of a situation that I was in, and my sister, who's already been up here for a while before I even showed up to Wisconsin, knew that the time was right for me to make a move after our mother passed 7 years ago in 2016. But my dad's side of the family, they're from here in Wisconsin.
Okay.
So my dad used to take me and my sister traveling to Wisconsin just to visit family for Christmas or summer or whatever the occasion is. And so I've always known the weathers to be extreme. And but I didn't think in a million years I'll be living in it. But I'm living
Right.
in it. But it's great. But my upbringing was really, really good. I enjoyed my childhood for the best um, moments. Um, I had trifocals at 3, bifocals by 5,
Ooh.
and I didn't have the glasses that the children nowadays wear. I guess they didn't have that in existence then in the early 80s. Then I got involved with Girl Scouts, and during my Girl Scout years, I had so much fun with connecting with other girls um, and just having fun with being part of a Girl Scout tribe. And that always put a big smile on my face, especially when it's time for Girl Scout cookies. My favorites are always Thin Mints.
Oh, cool.
Yes. And then I had my fair share of getting bullied emotionally and some physically as well. And then by middle school, that was when I started getting picked on, and my sister fought my battles by the time I was in 7th grade when she was in 6th grade. And no one knew in school that I had Down syndrome except for the certain people that needed to know.
Hmm.
And even high school, it's not so much getting picked on, but me being who I am, and thanks to a popular girl, I got involved with clubs that were like so fitting and so fun to do, and I did that. And then after high school, um, I'm going to back up just a tad
Hmm.
second. My father passed away in 1995, so that was the time where I actually wanted to start driving, but that got put off for about 2 years, and then I started driving in '97. And then work life was just, I'm not sure how to describe work life. I remember portraying an Easter bunny in early '95 for Easter, which was very much fun. And then after that, it was just like grocery stores like Publix. And so work life, I had so many different jobs, and I totally forgot most of the jobs that I've done, except for the ones recent. And where I'm at today is now I'm more on the speaking mission that I'm on, and I've
Cool.
been speaking for since I believe 2011.
When
And so
when you were growing up, at what point did your mom and dad or anybody tell you, "Hey, you have Down syndrome, and this is why maybe kids pick on you"? Was there any a certain point that people told you? How did you find out?
I started getting very inquisitive uh, by the time I was 4 and 5 years old. Um, I said to my mom one day, I said, "Mom, why am I constantly going to the doctors and getting my blood drawn?" And then she says, "Well, you have something called Down syndrome." I'm 5 years old. I did not know what that was
Right,
exactly. No internet, no books to read up on it
right.
or anything like that. So then it wasn't until like middle school, um, around middle school, when I was like, what is Down syndrome? I know I have it, but what is it? Is that the reason why people are making fun of me? I don't know. And I left it alone for a while. And then by the time the internet started coming around, I started looking up things on the internet about Down syndrome, um, how it affects me or other people. And I was quite impressed. I'm like, so all I have is this just a little extra? And that's basically what it is. I have just a little extra, and then Facebook is around now, and then I started looking for some Down syndrome groups, and I became part of some Down syndrome groups. Easily accepted in, and then I knew I was on a mission because I was able to do videos on YouTube and share them with the world and see who watches. And I never know who exactly is watching it, but I've had some comments to where everyone was impressed. They were
That's cool.
impressed with how well I speak. Is the most part that I always get. You speak so well, Jen. I'm like, thank you. And after that, it was just, it's like something about me was reborn, and I knew that was what I wanted to do. I wanted to speak,
That's
and
cool.
here I am, still speaking many years later.
Now you're an ambassador for a nonprofit organization called Nothing Down. How did that happen?
I remember it was in December 2018. I've been following Nothing Down for quite some time, and then they were looking for ambassadors. I'm like, huh, this is going to be a good opportunity for me. And so I was selected, one of 33, by February 10th, 2019, when I first became an ambassador for Nothing Down. And wow, just everything just blossomed, opened up for me in so many ways, to where I did so many fun things. I even did put a pie in my face because uh, that was fun. I still do it to this day, just
That's
for
cool.
just for the fun of it. And that's because if you can't donate to Nothing Down, then you have to put a pie in your face. That great times, great times. And then I did so many other things that um, that Nothing Down, the ladies of Nothing Down, every time they put like a challenge up, if it's more geared for kids, then I would try to do something different on my end. But I shined so bright in that, and then next year, 2020, I'm like, all right, I'm on a roll. I'm ready to speak and all that. I mean, I did a few speaking moments in 2019, which was truly fun. And then 2020, well, little did I not know what that year was going to be like for me.
I think a lot of us had an interesting year that year.
Yeah,
What happened
COVID
for you?
being one of them.
Right.
But by May of 2020, I stepped into a 4-inch hole and I broke my ankle in 3 places.
Oof.
Yeah, spent time in the hospital before going to a care center up here in Montello, and PTSD right there. That's okay. Um, but yeah, that was a game changer for me, and I still have issues to this day with my ankle.
Mm.
So, but I try to keep active no matter what.
So you got involved with Nothing Down, and you said what all was it that they helped you do? I mean, you started. They were able to help you, do public speaking. What was it that they helped you do?
They helped me more with being comfortable in my own skin,
Okay.
and who cares what people think? Because that was always the biggest thing. I'm like, what if someone sees me doing this? They're gonna make fun of me. I'm like, no, Jen, they're not gonna make fun of you. They're gonna see you doing this for a reason, and there's a reason behind everything, especially Nothing Down. And I mean, my lifetime ambassador status happened on World Down Syndrome Day 2020.
That's awesome.
So that's how I became when I became a lifetime ambassador.
Okay. Do they provide like classes and stuff for you or others, or what is it that they
No,
do? What is
no.
their main thing?
Oh, their main focus is on spreading awareness is definitely the first thing. Second of all, Nothing Down. They have done a few documentaries,
Okay.
and the best part of 2019, going back to 2019, was um, they were quite impressed with what I was doing, and through a video, the ladies of Nothing Down, had a surprise in store for me, which I had no clue what was about to happen. And they're like, Jen, you are being sponsored, but we're flying you plus one to New Jersey for the gala in October. I was like,
Wow.
wow, what an opportunity. I've never done anything like that. I'm like, this is perfect. I had a beautiful blue dress and everything. And a friend of mine here in Wisconsin, she um, made a sash for me that says Nothing Down Ambassador.
That's
And
cool.
so I I rocked everything. I always rock everything the best I can.
That's great.
And
That's so cool.
I like to rock the socks all the time. And if I'm not rocking the socks, I'm just rocking someone.
Well, that is so cool. And I got the website up there if anybody wants to check it out, nothingdown.org. Um, how did you get so brave? Did they help you be so brave? I mean, getting on a stage and talking in front of people, that's more than a majority of people can even handle. Um,
Yes.
I mean, that's got to be a little nerve wracking.
I always get nervous no matter what. Whenever I get asked to do a speaking gig, and I'm like, just pretend that they're you, and you're just staring at a million faces of your face.
There you
So
go.
that's my trick on staying confident. And I'm like, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. Like last year, Down Syndrome Awareness Month at Gigi's Playhouse Generation G Gala. I was on stage with, I think there's around 200 people, but
Wow.
I spoke to a larger group before, but this was like no easy walk in the park. I'm like, I can handle this, and that it's still getting. I know that I know. Yeah, I'm getting tongue tied there. Um, I know that video is still going around. It's on my
Yeah,
TikTok.
I've
It's
seen it.
on
It's
Facebook.
cool.
I I I remember putting it on LinkedIn. Can't remember where I shared it to, but I know that video is still going around, as
Yeah.
well as my interview with Spectrum News back in 2019.
Yes. Yes. Now, Gigi's Playhouse. Are you involved with them? Or have you been growing up, or what?
Never have, not even when I was in Florida. When I lived in Florida, I did take part in two buddy walks,
Okay.
and I grew up in Broward County, so Broward Gold Coast Down Syndrome Association. I think that's the whole name. I may be like missing out on something on that one, but I've been to a few events with that. Met so many incredible people along the way, from my Florida days to being up here in Wisconsin, not knowing about who am I going to encounter next that I could change someone's life.
Jen, like I've told a lot of people, you never know whose life you're going to change, or whose life you might affect. You may never know,
Yeah.
or they may later on, years from now, or whenever, may say, hey, I remember you said this about this and all that, and you never know. What's the main thing you want people to know about Down syndrome? I think from what I said earlier on your one caption, are these your main points as well?
Yes. As well as don't limit me, because I'm quite capable to do a lot of things. Um, as well as uh, I lost my word.
It doesn't define you. It doesn't
Yeah, it definitely does not define me. I
right.
may have it. I know I don't look it, but overall, I'm just a human being like everyone else
Hmm.
who's striving in this world to make a difference and to gain more acceptance and awareness with people with Down syndrome. Inclusion is another thing.
Right.
Include us with a lot of things,
Hmm.
and you'll be surprised of what the outcome will be if you were to include me in something big or
Right.
small. It doesn't matter, because we will
I mean,
shine.
yeah. I've noticed, just looking at some of your pictures and stuff versus a lot of people's profiles on Facebook or social media, you see all kinds of different things. But when you just scan through yours, it's most all of it's love and joy and happiness all over. And,
Mhm.
and I've noticed that with people with Down syndrome of any type, that's what they're all about, and they just want to spread love. They want to spread joy. And I know life for anybody is not always birthday cake and ice cream, but being included in things, like you said, is a biggie, and being involved and not pushed off to the side and forgotten about. you know that's definitely, um you know you're so brave, I believe, to because a lot of people they're shy, and I get it, but you're brave getting on a stage and talking in front of people and telling them all these different points. you know um
And
Now you
another
have a lot
thing,
of other different passions and habits and different things, like WWE. You like,
oh gosh, yes,
tell me a
the
little bit about that.
WWE.
What is that? I mean, that kind of might blow some people's minds.
Oh yes, yes, I'm a huge WWE fan, and I started enjoying them around 2005. I was with a then boyfriend at the time. It was time for WrestleMania 21, and we watched it. At first, I thought it was actually real, but I was like, no, it's not just real. I mean, they're acting. That's why they call it entertainment. So I love my WWE. I have seen wrestlers come and go. Some have passed. Some have retired, and it was just wonderful just to even actually go to WrestleMania 28. Gosh, in 2012, I went with an ex boyfriend, and oh wow, what a moment! I even met a few WWE superstars.
That's
Um,
cool. Who's your favorite,
uh,
or does it change a
it
little?
has changed. I've always been a huge Undertaker fan. I even had the opportunity to meet Kane. I was wearing an Undertaker shirt where the eyes glowed, and glowed in the dark and all that.
Wow.
And yeah, it was March 31st, 2012 for WrestleMania Access. Still remember the date and everything. And Kane is sitting down. He's now a mayor of Knoxville. And and he says, "Cool shirt." I'm like, "Thank you." And I got smiled so big and everything. I wish I had taken a picture with him, but he was more signing autographs.
Cool.
And so I've seen a few superstars from a distance. But now with the wrestlers of today, um, I like the Miz and Maurice. I love the show Miz and Mrs. Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins. Oh gosh, the list goes on. I can't just pick one certain wrestler. It just goes on.
What
then
other?
The music made an influence in my life too when it comes to WWE.
Oh,
So I've always been a fan of Skillet, a big time fan of Five Finger Death Punch, Disturbed, as well, because I've heard some of their music in the WWE, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is just awesome. I mean, I've always been a big heavy metal fan.
Did your parents ever worry about you when you were young? About things
sure
you're into? I mean, that's what parents do, though.
Yeah. I mean, because I know what's at stake for me with me having Down syndrome. I don't have heart issues. I have
good.
high blood pressure, bones and joints. Well, I already knocked on wood on that because I broke my ankle. So, and then there's my breathing, and then eyesight and hearing. And it's like, I worry about these things with me. And I mean, one little problem with me, it could just put a big, huge tailspin on what could happen next. I am dealing with some issues, and I know it's going to get addressed, but I just like when it comes to my breathing and my heart, I could still end up with heart issues later in life. I may be 46, but that doesn't matter. I could still end up with something. So I always inform people, certain people actually, of what I have, what could be a problem area with me later in life. And so I like to tell people these things in case if there's a situation and they're worried about me and they want to check on me, they can check on me. I'm not going to stop anyone on doing that.
Yeah.
So I just worry about like my health, things.
You know, thinking about wrestling and stuff. Have you ever seen the movie called Peanut Butter Falcon?
I love that movie.
I was just, when you were telling me about wrestling, I'm like, if you haven't seen this movie and anyone else that's watching, watch Peanut Butter Falcon. It is awesome. It is awesome. And you'll see why when you watch it. I'm not going to give it away, why they call it Peanut Butter Falcon. But when you were talking about wrestling, I'm like, that reminds me of that movie. That's an awesome movie.
Great actors. Zach did great. Shia LaBeouf did great. Yes, I'm not a fan of the R word, but sometimes I guess it's said in a movie to show people that it's not okay to say that word whatsoever. I don't care what context you put it in. Don't say it.
Exactly. You know, I put on my Facebook, if anybody's watching this, you can go on, scroll down on my Facebook. You'll see I did a clip of an interview with Shia and talking about what it's like to work with someone with Down syndrome. In fact, he was intimidated to work with someone with Down syndrome. And check out that clip because it's, you know, but you know, he's a big actor. He's in Transformers and all these big movies, but it changed his life and his other Dakota Johnson, her life, working with somebody with Down syndrome. And these are big time actors. You know, when they're working with somebody on a set with Down syndrome, it's life changing for everyone, you know, and for the better, for the absolute better. One other last question, Jen. I was telling you about this one. And you've never had this happen, but you may have this happen at some point where, you know, whether it's one of your speaking events or whatever it is, a lady come up to you and say, you know, the doctor just told me that I'm pregnant with a high chance of my baby having Down syndrome. Do you have any advice for me? I'm scared. Jen, what can you tell me? I don't know what to do, or somewhere along those lines.
Yeah.
What would you say, Jen, to a lady that's pregnant and she believes
First
her
of
baby
all,
will have
a
Down
big,
syndrome.
huge congratulations. And second of all, I would tell them that I have Down syndrome myself, and you can reach out to me and ask me questions on like what to do in an event that it happens, because no one knows when they're going to have a child with Down syndrome. And so getting that diagnosis, yes, it will be shocking. And yes, in life there will be some frustrations and all that, but overall, as you watch your child grow, they may have some delays in reaching milestones, but just know that deep down they are a shining star, and they will rise to the top, and you will see how amazed you are with the progress of your child with Down syndrome on what that child is doing in their life. Um,
Yes, and
so when they're
it's
babies, I look at the babies and I'm watching videos on TikTok with all these cute little babies, and I'm just like, I can't help but smile so big because they've come a long way.
yeah,
And then I would see some videos to where they have to have heart surgery because the heart is a big factor in those with Down syndrome. Unlike me, like I stated, I don't have heart issues, but I do have to be careful.
right, right,
So going up to a new parent, whether it's a mother or father or two females, two guys. I mean, I'm also trying to encourage people to adopt a child with Down syndrome because it
yes,
doesn't matter the age. You one will see how amazed they will be when they have that bundle of joy, whether it's a girl or a boy, on how fast they will blossom into a bright human being that's going to rock the world with
and I believe
so many
they'll
things.
be more blessed with a child with Down syndrome than they ever imagined. You know, and my prayer is that all doctors will start changing and letting people know when there's that diagnosis, how good of a blessing it is instead of opposite.
My parents got their diagnosis of me when I was around 2 months of age, and I'm pretty sure they felt the same way on like what to expect out of me. What is my daughter going to be capable of or not capable of? And as I remember, obviously, I don't remember much from the first 2 years, but I remember 3 years old and to now, and it's like I remember a lot of things and that I've been through the bullying, um, getting teased for whatever reason, or someone just doesn't like me, and I'm like, well, that's life. Not many people will like you, but they do have to respect you in one way or another.
That's
So
right.
I give myself props on being the best human being that I can be here in this world today in the year 2023, and it's just I've come a long way, and I'm
Yes.
glad. Even though I have my moments, I mean, who doesn't have their moments? But
Right.
I have
We
my
all do.
moments, and I do get the help that I need through my sister, um, and some wonderful friends up here in Wisconsin with me, including, um, well, actually, just my sister. I would say my other family, but I don't communicate with them a whole lot.
Well, that's incredible, Jen. Though I mean, you're an incredible person with an amazing story, and I appreciate you coming on and telling your story. And going forward, you're the best inspiration, and keep inspiring people, and keep rocking it.
I will. Thank you so much.